Imagine this. You are forced alive into a sack. Inside with you are a snake, a dog, and a monkey. The sack is tied shut, lifted into the air, and hurled into a river. You thrash and struggle, but the animals are also fighting for their lives. Water floods in. You drown together. This was not a scene from a horror film. It was a real Roman execution called Poena Cullei. And this is only one of the terrifying punishments used by ancient Rome against criminals, traitors, and those who dared resist the empire. Today, we uncover the darkest and most ruthless methods of Roman torture. The Romans did not simply kill. They displayed. Public punishment was never about justice. It was about power. It was spectacle. It was control. The streets were the stage, and the people were the audience. The Roman Empire was not only marble temples and military triumphs. It was fear, carefully engineered, to ensure no one ever challenged the emperor. And if you did, Rome made certain you would never rise again. Let us begin with the most infamous Roman execution, crucifixion, best known for the death of Jesus Christ. Yet this punishment went far beyond a single historical moment. The Romans perfected crucifixion into a slow, agonizing, and degrading process. It was not simply execution. It was extended torment. Victims were not nailed through the palms, as the hands could not support the body's weight. Instead, spikes were driven through the wrists and ankles, points strong enough to hold the body longer. Death did not come quickly. It could take hours or even days. As the body sagged, the lungs filled with fluid. Every breath became a struggle. Many suffocated under their own weight, suspended before crowds, exposed, begging for mercy. That was crucifixion. But Rome's cruelty did not end there. Consider Scaphism, a punishment borrowed from Persian practices and used by the Romans. The victim was trapped between two small boats, sealed inside a tight, horrifying prison. Milk and honey were smeared on the skin, attracting flies and insects. They fed on the flesh, laying eggs, spreading infection. Slowly, the victim was eaten alive. Then there was death by fire. Traitors, arsonists, and perceived enemies of Rome were sometimes burned alive. In some cases, victims were placed inside a hollow bronze statue shaped like a bull. A fire was lit beneath it, and as the metal heated, their screams echoed through the mouth of the statue, making it sound as though the bull itself was crying in agony. These were not executions. They were performances, carefully staged horrors meant to terrify anyone who dared oppose Rome. Here is the grim truth. These punishments were not only about criminals, they were about fear. Rome did not care about killing individuals. It cared about making examples. The message was clear: resist us, and you will suffer before all. Fear was a tool of social control, refined and wielded with precision. Rome understood that terror could keep millions obedient. Crucifixion, burning alive, being torn apart by beasts in the arena. These were not random acts of brutality. They were chosen to humiliate, destroy, and erase. To die this way was not honorable. It was to become a warning. One of the darkest elements was the crowd. These deaths were public entertainment. Spectators were urged to cheer, chant, and participate. The more pain, the stronger the lesson. Defying Rome was unthinkable. You might assume only criminals suffered this fate, but Rome spared no one. Slaves could be tortured before they were even allowed to testify in court. Their words held no weight unless extracted through pain. This was accepted as normal. Even citizens were not safe. Powerful officials who fell from favor could be publicly executed to disgrace their families and supporters. Take the case of Sejanus, a high-ranking officer under Emperor Tiberius. Accused of treason, he was executed in a public spectacle. His body was dragged through the streets and thrown into the Tiber River. His children were killed. His entire family erased, not just as punishment, but as a warning. This cruelty was deliberate. The goal was not justice. It was stability through terror. And that leads to a troubling question. Are we truly past this? Are we really so different from ancient Rome? We no longer crucify people in city squares, but do we still live under systems of fear? In some places, people vanish overnight. Reputations are destroyed through public shame. The methods have changed, but the show remains. In that sense, Rome never truly left us. It lives on in human nature, in the desire to control through fear. And if we are not careful, history will return in new and unexpected forms. So now ask yourself, after learning about the brutal punishments of ancient Rome, have we learned anything? Or are the same shadows still with us today? Share your thoughts in the comments. I always read them. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell so you never miss another journey into history's darkest corners. Stay curious, keep questioning, and remember, history has a dangerous habit of repeating itself when we fail to learn from it. Thanks for watching.